Okay, so the Christmas banner was very good to me. At the start we have a plus defense minus attack Cordelia from as a free summon from her Tempest Trial Focus banner. From a 4-star special ticket, we get a plus attack minus speed duo Ephraim. So both of these will be used as a merge project. Ephraim will be actually as the base, as I don't have as the one that I currently have as a +1 is plus HP. So having a plus attack makes him a much more dangerous unit. We have for Cordelia she just gets turned into a book, which will either be used to up the current Cordelia I have or give someone Gale Force. I have plenty of Gale Force fodder at this point, but having more does help. So for the actual banner, the actual holiday banner, I do manage to get a plus attack minus res Dorothea. Sadly, she did not win this year's cup, which means that we have to hope that they give her the academy version to finally, as a normal unit, to finally get her into the normal pool and finally complete her emblem. For Annette, I managed to get 2 copies of her 4-star version, both with minus res. The first one was plus attack, second one was plus defense. The one that I decided to go with was plus attack, as I made a very good, interesting kit for her using the Wyvern Yumi. I did also manage to get off focus Flavia with a plus HP minus defense. I won't say that I'm sick and tired of getting Flavia because she doesn't have anything really worth my time to get. I have plenty of attacks. I have plenty of units who either don't need or already have attack speed push 4, and the feud skills are kind of a empty thing for me. I did also choose to spark Cordelia, so the only thing I missed was the Black Knight. Sadly, the highlight of the banner outside of the harmonic unit. So I got a total of 7 points in total with one focus, one off focus, 2 4-star focuses, and 1 4-star special. So that is 2 points, 1.5 point. Then we got 2 points here, so 2, 3.5. Actually, I don't really remember what I stated that is. I guess I just considered it to be more of so 7, so 2, 4, and then, so maybe it was 6. Or I guess I also include the Cordelia and Ephraim as kind of like bonus points from this one. So adding on to what focus charge would have been, there is no focus charge for this banner. Since I managed to get 5 units of focus on this banners, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, excluding the Annettes, or if you want to just exclude Cordelia and Ephraim because they were not summoned on this banner, that's a total of 5 questions. So let's start with what we have. So once again, I'm going to be doing a series of questions. Luckily, each one's going to take up their own slide. So the same voice pairings for duo and harmonic units. So until we had Cordelia and Selena, there were no actual duo and harmonic units that shared any of their voice actors. So it was always going to be both of them being a different voice actor doing each end. I feel free to correct me on this. I attempted to look as much as possible, but I remember seeing that there were no actual connections for those. So with the fact that we do have a character that actively broke this rule of having no matching VAs in duo and harmonic units, what are some pairings that you like to see? So I'm going to give myself a couple of rules. I want to do at least one duo and harmonic if possible, because it is trying to match voice lines or voice actors, and trying to match those can actually be a little bit difficult. No repeats. This one's self-explanatory. I don't want to repeat a single character, so for anyone who wanted to see multiple Elliewood duos, sorry, but I'm not really interested in doing that one yet. An explanation for the unit is not really necessary unless I feel like it is. And then this is the only case in which the English lines and the Japanese lines will actually be different. And that's because trying to match both is a very hard thing. I actually only found 4 characters that share both the English and Japanese VAs with their Persona 5 counterparts. That being Chrom, Not, Inez, and Leo. So that's the main differences. So the first pairing I will go to is the first pairing I thought of was Matthew and Sizo, being that they both share the voice actor Ben Diskin. So both of these units have not shown any signs of a single alt. So both of them are actually at least 5.5 years, with I think both of them actually being at the 6 year period where it's sad that they actually have like not a single alt between with either one of them, even though they've actually had some pretty ideal thoughts. I could see like Ice Festival version of Matthew wearing much less revealing clothing. Sorry for all the ladies. For Sizo, he might have actually fit into the Fire Festival because that's what type of ninja he is. So, like, the example would be like Opposites Banner. It's fire and ice, so ice dagger, fire dagger kind of thing. And then the lead could be either one of them. Again, I don't have any real attachment to having either one be that case. I think because Matthew has shown a lot more people, that being maybe 2 or 3 people who actually want to see him get a alt, I would say that having him get that alt more would actually be better for him. So the kit would revolve around any kind of debuffs and treachery, and then the harmonic would be a any foes within a certain distance from allies that share worlds. So this would be a Blazing Blade and Fates would get some kind of debuff. So the main reason I chose this one first because it's one of those units where I actually do want to see them get at least one alt before we head into at least the 6.5 when we start getting the new Braves for the 7th year. Even though, and as a quick note also, Sizo has no Resplendent, so he's just bare bones right now. I know that there are ways to make him a very good unit, but very good is still kind of hard to deal with because there's PRF weapons, PRF skills, tier 4 skills that you have to transfer onto him. Basically what it is Sizo and Matthew require a lot more attention at this point, and it's very sad that they are some of the, I think, at 50 plus units that got ignored for the first portion. If anyone has any ideas for like an actual kit for them, leave it in the comments. That's perfectly fine on my end. So the next pairing is our duo pairing of Claire and Paula. So this one's kind of an odd one because both of them are technically voiced by Alexis Tipton. So I believe Kaguya Shinomiya from the Kaguya-sama Love is War. But originally Paula was voiced by someone different, that being Laura Bailey. I won't say that I miss Laura Bailey. I think that she's a great voice actor, but Alexis Tipton seems to have hit the actual mark for her units. So this is a duo option for Echo, which is losing ground because they don't have a very large roster of characters, as opposed to some other lists where they still have like a couple more. Echoes is only has about 2 to 4 characters that can probably be put into the normal pool. The other thing interesting about them is that they never actually meet until the end game. So Noble versus Noble with a kind of out of place Pegasus Knight, see what they offer. So their kit would include a dual phase Brave weapon, most likely leading with Paula. Actually, I will actually a PRF Rain or Hold skill, and then I also want to see Brazen skills come back with tier 4s, as the only one that we have is attack speed. So the duo skill would be a range buff with a bonus effect to flyers. So like with the range buff being like +6 to all stats, and then any flyers would get a desperation skill or some kind of guaranteed follow-up or something like that. And then I will admit that I don't exactly mind Claire being the lead because she's got that 5.5 to 6 year distance. Paula seems like a better choice just because she seems more responsible over Claire. Now Claire does get better in the game from what I know, but it's Paula. She's most likely going to be chosen just because she's a better choice, because more people probably know her. She's been in what is it at this point? So she's been in both the Shadow Dragon original and remake, the Mystery of the Emblem Shadow original and remake. She's been in both the Gaiden original and Echoes. You can also recruit her in Awakening. So that's 7 different games, 4 different technical games, 7 different total games that you can play Paula. So she's actually a very well-known face along with her sisters. And the last pairing is we have Chris Smith voicing both Legion and Reinhardt. So this would be another case of opposites, a good opposites pairing. However, it would be on the extreme ends. We have Reinhardt, the leader of an army, a decorated and well-loved commander, versus Legion, the completely unhinged assassin in New Mystery of the Emblem. We also have 2 very different fighting styles, strategic magic use versus rest them to death with axes. A foe phase brave weapon, so instead of being a dual phase, it would just be a if foe attacks, unit attacks twice in between, along with a vulture effect, comboing off of what Legion does. And then a Vantage 4 for the tiers. Now, while this would be a good opportunity to have Legion, who has not had a single alt for, once again, that at least 4 to 5 years, I know that Reinhardt is a very well-loved character beyond just being a good character. He's the one of the only tier 1 4 stars that is still in the game as a viable unit to clear arenas. So Reinhardt would easily be one of the best choices. I'll give Legion another chance, another time for a different type of alt. And now on to the next portion of the question. So we have more legendary comparisons. So once again, which unit gets a legendary first? I'm going to start with the lower end. So Lissa versus Mist. So there's a difference between these two that's easily overcome. Mist is a 5-star. Lissa's 3 to 4. Mist has a PRF. Lissa does not. Mist has a refined for her staff. Lissa only gets the standard Wrathful or Dazzling. So I want to give this to Lissa. Now I will admit that Mist would make a very good Valkyrie sword, but we already have sword calves up the wazoo. For Lissa, this could easily be, you could easily do her as a bolt axe user to refer to her war cleric option. You could make her a tome cav for Valkyrie, or you could just make her like an Exalt Sage type. You have basically what I'm saying is Lissa has a lot of options. Mist, I feel like you have to really stretch yourself for those for whatever options you're making. So I'm going to give this one to Lissa. Then we have the I guess creme de la creme of thought processes. We have Althena versus Arion. So for those who are unfamiliar with genealogy or are familiar with enough the characters that are in Fae, Arion is Travant's son. He's the inheritor to the Gungnir lance as well as the blood of, I believe, Noba. So he's also Althena's technically adopted brother. So one of the big things is that eventually they face each other. Althena actually does manage to convince Arion to switch sides. One other point that I'm going to also add into this is that when you recruit Travant for his Grand Hero battle, his best weapon is a Silver Lance Plus, or his 5-star weapon is a Silver Lance Plus, which means that the Gungnir that he would normally come with when he killed Quan, spoilers if no one is aware of that one, we have a unit that serves as both a good boss character as well as a good redemption character. I feel like Arion could easily be one of those like a redemption character banner. Like he's a redeemed character once you recruit him. Whereas Althena, I feel like because she's actually in Fae, giving her a legendary first would actually make sense, especially since that would mean that Arion would get his legendary before his original. So Altina first, unless they release Arion within the next some number of months. So that's what I suggest for art in terms of the verses. So once again, I prefer the left side in general, but if Arion gets a version of himself, this one could go either way. So once again, thank you very much for watching. If you like what I do, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you another time. Thank you and have a nice night.